Everyone, I am very glad that you could be here to join me. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to do another egg dish, and we're going to do an egg dish because that is one of the gentlest ways that you can break a fast, and that's what we're doing today, right? Uh, Maybe not as much as you might think. So, what I want to do first is I want to um, I am just wondering here. Just a second. We're having a technical difficulty here, kind of, sort of. Not really. Okay. Is what it is. And I'm here with you, and that's the only thing that really matters. So, we are going to do this. So, 5-day fast. Sounds impossible. But I told you on Monday, it isn't as hard as you think it is. If you want to do it, you can do it. And so here we are on day 5. And I was absolutely thrilled to have you join me for this journey that I've been on. So I want to tell you how it's gone. Day 1, no problem. Sailed right through it. Day 2, no problem. Sailed right through it. Day 3, sailed right through it, right to the 72-hour mark. Now, one of the things that many of you maybe don't know is I have a beautiful little dog who is very, very old, and so I cook him his supper every night. And Wednesday, good morning, Mom. Now, for those of you that are watching on Facebook, if it freezes, please don't think there's anything wrong with the stream. Hop over to YouTube and look for This Shining Life because you can find me there as well. Hopefully, Facebook will be a little more cooperative today. So, Wednesday, I hit the 72-hour mark. 3 full days that I had been fasting. And without even thinking, when I went to cook my little boy his supper, I grabbed a piece of turkey out of the fridge and ate it. There you go. Broke my fast. Absolutely mindlessly. Didn't even think about it. It is what it is. And so I did, and I said this to my husband, I said I did what any self-respecting woman would do. I started beating myself up. Well, you screwed up. Way to go. Now you've broken your fast. And you're not very good at this, are you? And then I realized that what I say to clients is anytime you do something, you need to look at it as a learning experience. So I tried to readjust my thinking and look at it from that perspective. And what did I learn? Well, a couple of things. First of all, as most of you know, I have ADHD. And my ADHD medication keeps me fairly level most days and helps me focus. If I miss a dose, I become absolutely mindlessly ravenous. And I am just wanting to grab everything I can see. And that's always a clue to me that I have missed a dose. Guess what I did on Wednesday? I did not take my second dose. So, am I going to blame the fact that I didn't take a second dose of medication? No, I'm not, because I'm the one that didn't take it. So, it's 100% on me. And if it isn't, then I can't learn anything about it. If I can shove the blame somewhere else, then it's not my fault. And it still isn't my fault, but it is my responsibility to learn from what I did. And what I did was break my fast. And so once I'd had that slice of turkey, I thought, well, I've totally screwed it up now. And so then I had some ham, and then I had a few walnuts, and then I felt horrible. I felt sick to my stomach. It was awful. So, what have I learned from that? It is important to take medication the way it's prescribed. You cannot just stop taking some medications. Some you can, some you can't. And I know what happens But this really reinforced that and drove it home. Secondly, when you are breaking a fast, intentionally or unintentionally, it's important that you do it gently, because you've just given your system a rest for 24 hours, 48, 72 hours, 5 days. So if you don't break that fast gently, you may end up feeling like I did. Upset stomach, nauseous, just, it was not good and I didn't enjoy it. So, thirdly, and this is so important, it was really driven home to me when I gave myself a minute to think about it, that I'm human. I'm not perfect. And I've had people say to me so many times, I don't know how you have done keto for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years. Now I'm at 3.5 years. I've done it because it makes me feel good. I've done it because I don't like feeling sick. Hi, Del. I've done it because I know it's what's best for me. It's what's best for my husband. It's what's best for human bodies, period. And I feel so much better when I'm doing it. So it hasn't been a push for me to do it. That does not mean that I have always done it well. And like I told you on Sunday, the reason that I decided to do this 5-day fast, which ended up being a 3-day fast, was because in the last few months I had gained 10 pounds. I'm happy to say I am down 7 of that. That's awesome. So when I broke that fast, however unintentionally, what did I do next after I was done beating myself up? Well, I stopped and thought about what I could learn from that. And I've shared that with you. And so I was very gentle with myself on Thursday. I did have some fish bites that a friend made. They're Thai fish bites, and they are absolutely amazing. I am going to try and get the recipe from her, because I would love to make them here with you one day. And it will definitely be a day when my husband isn't home, because he doesn't do fish or spicy. And this is a Thai dish, so it's a little spicy. So we are going to talk about a good way to break a 5-day fast, because we've talked about a bad way to do it. So let's talk about a much better way to do it. So what we are going to do today is we are going to make a cloud omelet. And, well, omelet, I don't know, it's a cloud egg dish. We'll go that far. So, now, when we get together, I usually tell you about my cup of coffee, and you'll notice this morning that it really does not look like a cup of coffee, and that's because it's not. The tea that I made, so it's afternoon now, so I'm really wanting to cut back on anything with caffeine in it afternoon. I've been having a little bit of trouble sleeping well lately, so I did notice the last few days when I started drinking tea in the afternoon that was caffeine free, that I was maybe sleeping a little bit better at night. So I really love this. It is Tetley peach, ginger, and dandelion tea, and I put Da Vinci peach flavored syrup in it, and about 1/4 of a teaspoon, this is a pretty big mug, about 1/4 of a teaspoon of citric acid. I like it sour and tangy, and that excites my mouth. And when I'm drinking this during the day, if you can find something that keeps your mouth happy, it won't be giving you grief asking you for other things. So that's something to keep in mind. And that is lovely. I really, really like it. Now, I am going to do a 2-egg cloud omelet. We're going to grab the mixer because I'm going to make some noise today. I know you guys just love it when I do that. So let's see if we can get this the way we need it. Okay, get in there. Okay, well, you have to know how to work the mix. There we go. Got it. Okay, so bowl, 2 eggs. Large eggs, medium eggs, what do you usually use? Whatever it is, whoops, Yeah, I suggest that you don't do that so much. Okay, there's one, there's two, and we are going to add, you know, I really need to keep my mind in the game. So first we are going to take the yolks out because we need to beat these egg whites. So we're going to beat it into a meringue, but it's not going to be a sweetened meringue. It's going to be just a egg white. You know, this is easier to do when you do it in the eggshell, in the egg separator that they come with. But here we are. Now, if I had totally messed this up, it would not have been that big a deal. We just wouldn't have been doing a cloud egg dish. We would have been doing one with just, I don't know, scrambled eggs. Anyway, here we are. Okay. There we go. We have the egg yolks in there, the egg whites in the bowl, and we are not, usually if you're making meringue you would add cream of tartar. We're not going to do this today. We are just going to add about half a teaspoon of TSL Organics Italian seasoning. And that is going to give us a flavor punch. We're going to add a little salt later on, but not right now. Pardon me. Okay. Now, this is only going to take a couple of minutes, but it is going to be noisy. So if you don't have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, while I'm being noisy is maybe a good time to go and get one. Okay. Now, Italian seasoning is absolutely one of my favorites. Italian and Greek. Now, I wouldn't put Greek seasoning in this because Greek seasoning has lemon, lime, citric acid. It has some kind of an acid in it, and the acid will break down your egg whites so they won't whip. So you don't want to do that, especially not right while you're getting rid of the whites, because we don't want to break them down. We want to whip as much air as we can into these so that they are big, fluffy, beautiful egg whites. And I'm going to turn the burner on forward. Now we're going to turn this up a notch, and we are going to add some salt. And look at how quickly this is happening. This is going to be ready to put in the pan pretty quick. And having the Italian seasoning in the egg white is giving it time to kind of rehydrate. Okay, now when it starts getting firm like that, you know that you have your eggs whipped the way you want them whipped. And there, I'm done making noise. So, and I just totally lost my train of thought, but it's all good. Now we need a spatula. And first thing we are going to do is we're going to add a little bit of bacon fat, because any egg dish, in my opinion, needs a little bit of bacon fat in there. Well, as long as it's a savory one. So we're just going to oil this pan. Now, it is important that you go up the sides of the pan with this, because these egg whites are not just going to be sitting right on the bottom, very probably. Well, this is only 2 eggs, so maybe they will. Okay, that should be about enough. So lid back on there. Now once this is hot enough that it is starting to smoke, and that's where we are right now, I'm going to turn it down because we know that this is now hot, and we are just going to pour these egg whites right in the pan. So do you drink herbal tea? And if you do, what is your favorite kind of herbal tea? So right now I am just a little obsessed with this peach ginger dandelion Tetley tea. So I bought it last winter and put it away. I'm going to have to go and look for more because I'm starting to run low. Okay, now we have this in our greased pan and it is just cooking away, and we are going to add our 2 egg yolks on top of this. Make a little bit of a divot here so they don't slide around. There we go. Now, we want this to cook fairly slowly because we want the egg yolks to be warm. We want the egg white to be cooked all the way through. So I'm going to turn this down one more notch, and we are just going to let this go for a wee little bit. Now when this is done, we're going to plate it with a little bit of butter. Now I know we put some bacon fat in our pan, and that's great. That's keeping it from sticking. Now something that a lot of people don't know is that you don't need a nonstick pan to cook eggs. And for the most part, it's a better idea not to have a nonstick pan to cook eggs because nonstick pans, a lot of them have a Teflon coating that really gives off things into our food that isn't good for us, and it scratches. And if you preheat your pan, if you have stainless steel pans and you preheat them, you're not going to have a problem. And that pretty much goes for anything. And there are a few exceptions to that rule, I suppose, although I'm not thinking of one right off the top of my head. Now you can see, oops, now look at me flipping around. You can see that we're getting some moisture on the top of this lid. Now that tells me that there's enough heat in the top that we're cooking from the top down and the bottom up all at the same time. Now definitely the majority of the heat is from the bottom, but I've got it on low, so we're not going to burn the bottom, but we are going to cook that top at the same time, and it is looking lovely. How well cooked do you like your eggs? That is a personal opinion that you absolutely need to take into account. If you like your egg whites or your egg yolks hard, do that. If you like them medium, do that. If you want them soft, like I do, then that's what we shoot for. We'll see how well I get that done today. Now, I can tell, and you guys probably can't right now, but I can tell that the yolks are not hard yet. Oh, but look at this. They are definitely, well, not quite done yet. We're going to put that back on there. Oh my goodness, that is really yummy. Now, if you want to, at this point, you can fold it over and make an omelet out of it, but I am going to try and slide it out of there and have a really pretty cloud egg dish for you to see. So, I am going to grab my plate. And one of the things that just absolutely has to happen is we're going to add a pat of butter, and that's going to go on top of our egg. It's going to add some extra fat, it's going to add some extra flavor, it's going to add some extra oomph to make your mouth happy. So that is an important thing, and I think we are probably pretty close to being done. Yeah, I'm going to say we are done. Now these egg yolks are nice and warm. Now you can leave this longer. You can flip it over into an omelet. You can do whatever works for you or whoever it is that you're cooking for. So now let's see how well I oiled this pan. You know, oiling it is part of it, but the other part of it is making sure that it's preheated. It doesn't matter a whole lot how much oil you have in it if you haven't um, preheated it. That heat and the oil together are what make the magic potion. Now this, I am hopeful, is going to come out just lovely. And there are a couple of little spots that are just sticking a wee bit, so we're just going to go around and make sure that everything is loose. And if you can do, there we go. Now we've got, that is telling me that I absolutely forgot to turn my burner off. Now, there is a cloud omelet, and we are going to add this pat of butter on here because this is what is going to finish it off. Now, I know that there are people who absolutely cannot handle any jiggly egg white, and that's okay. If you don't like that, just steam it for a couple of minutes more. I don't have a problem with that. What I am going to truly enjoy is having, now look at how beautifully browned. As long as we cook that, it's still just a very light golden brown. So one or two, now this is a magnetic induction burner, but you want to keep your burner very, very low if you're wanting to put a cloud on a plate like this. And once you get that cloud on a plate, we're just going to use this like we would a piece of toast to sop up the yolk. That is like a little mouthful of cloud. It is delicious. And it's got a beautiful light Italian flavor that almost gives it a toasty flavor. So that being said, if you are kind of missing that piece of toast, the way the eggs are cooked with the Italian seasoning and the salt that we added to it, it kind of gives you a nice little toasty flavor. And then my tea with the citric acid in it. So this is a wonderful, gentle way to break a fast. And whether you have been fasting for 24 hours, 48, 5 days, two things are true. You need to break your fast in a gentle way. And if you didn't make it to your goal, you need to be gentle with yourself. Be proud of what you did. One of the things that I am very grateful for was a discussion that I had with my husband when I broke the fast. And I said, I just screwed up. And he said, you fasted for 3 days. And I said, I did, but I didn't do 5. And he said, but you did 3. And I said, that's true, but I didn't do 5. And he said, but Sharon, you did 3. And it's interesting to me how the human brain works. We can be so busy chastising ourselves for what we didn't accomplish that we forget to remember and honor and be proud of what we did accomplish. So you meant to lose 10 pounds in December and you gained 1. Okay, you gained 1. You didn't gain 5. Be proud of that. A lot of people gain 10 or 15 pounds over the holiday season. Now we're in January. Reset your goal. Make it something realistic. Whatever it is you manage to do, be proud of that. Use it as a learning experience and keep going forward because you deserve that. And I promise you something. If you use not reaching a goal as a reason to beat yourself up, there are more goals that you will not reach. Because failure breeds failure. And it is not a failure unless you decide it is. Use it as a learning opportunity. Use it as a way for you to pay attention to what your body is telling you. And my body was telling me on Wednesday night that beating me up does not make me feel good. So, between recognizing that and having an amazingly supportive husband, I quit beating myself up And I had to say, he's right. I fasted for 72 hours. Black coffee, black tea, water with juice squirts in it, tea with citric acid in it. So, what did you do while you were looking at reaching your goal that was successful? Keep that in your list of tools that you can use. And what did you do that wasn't successful? And how can you change that so that you can be more successful next time? Because that's the only thing that's important, is learning from your experiences. Do not call them mistakes. Do not call them failures. What they are choices that you've made, goals that you did or didn't hit, but one way or the other, it's a learning experience. And if you're gentle with yourself and honest with yourself about what worked and what didn't, you have a much better chance of hitting that goal next time. And if it doesn't, many years ago, over 20 years ago, my husband and I were both smokers. And we went to our doctor one day and we said, we cannot quit smoking on our own. We do not have the willpower. We want you to give us a prescription to help us quit. And he said, I'm going to tell you right now, if it doesn't work the first time, don't give up. Take a break and do it again. Because quitting smoking is like anything else. It takes time to get good at it. And I am going to tell you the same thing about changing the way you eat. And I'm not going to call it a diet, because this is not a weight loss diet. This is a good way to eat. So what can you do to change the way you eat? You can be gentle with yourself. You can recognize what you've done that works. You can recognize what you've done that didn't. And recognize that doing anything, creating a new habit, creating a new lifestyle is something that takes time. And you have to give yourself a chance to do it over and over again until it works, because you're worth it. And that's important, that you recognize that. You are worth it. Now, if you have not been with me before, please click like and click all of the things and the stuff so that you can hang out here with me. Every week we're here Sunday morning and Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain and Friday morning at noon Mountain. And I will be talking about keto and talking about self-care and talking about relationships and talking about, we'll be talking about whatever it is you want to talk to me about. If there's a recipe that you would like to see ketoed, or you have questions about intermittent fasting or longer term fasting, please feel free to send me an email or a message on Facebook or YouTube. I would love to have you join me as often as you can. So from now until we get together Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain, please do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. You cannot ask more of yourself than that. Thank you for joining me. I have really enjoyed being here with you. And thank you